This micro-credential is about using energy-efficient materials to conserve energy and has 4 targeted skills. This targeted skill addresses R values. Home heating is one of your family's largest yearly expenses. One important number to know about is the R value. An R value is the rate of heat loss per hour per square foot per inch of thickness of material per degree Fahrenheit. In other words, R value is a calculation of heat loss per hour. This calculation uses the BTU, or British Thermal Unit, which is simply the amount of heat energy needed to raise the temperature of 1 pound of water by 1 degree Fahrenheit. Just remember that the R in R value stands for resistance. The R value measures a material's resistance to heat traveling through it from one side to the other. The basic rule is that the higher the R value, the greater the insulating effectiveness and the more energy conservation. But not all building materials are created equal when it comes to R values. Here are some common building materials. Different climates require different R values. The higher R values in the range are for the colder climates with more heating days. For most climates, an attic is between R30 to R60. Walls should be at R19 to R21. Basement walls R13 to R19, and floors from R19 to R30. Sometimes you need to add insulation to have the recommended R value. What you need to add will depend on the insulation type. To calculate R value, simply add together the R values of the layers of insulation. For example, if you have an attic with R19 fiberglass roll insulation between the joists, adding a second layer will give you an R value of 38. If you live in the coldest climates, like the northern Great Plains, adding a third layer of R19 will give you a value close to R60, recommended for attics in cold regions. Fiberglass rolls are easiest for the do-it-yourselfer. Remember that when adding attic insulation, if there is existing insulation between your rafters or joists, place the second layer over or perpendicular to the first. Also, the second layer or roll of insulation must be unfaced. Don't use any with a vapor barrier. You do not always need to use the same type of insulation when adding insulation to your attic. Simply know the correct way to add the extra layers. Loose fill can be placed on top of fiberglass rolled insulation, for example. If fiberglass is placed over loose fill, always be sure the fiberglass roll, or bat, is unfaced, with no paper or foil backing on either side. The R value of an exterior wall is the sum of the layers in the wall. If a wall is constructed with 1/2 inch drywall on the inside and 3/4 inch plywood on the outside, with 4 inches of fiberglass in between them, the total R value for the wall in this case is the sum of those 3 numbers, or 14.06. If the outer surface of the wall is covered with 2 inches of EPS exterior insulation, this adds an R value of 10. Then the total R value is 24.06. This is in the range of an R value recommended for outside walls in a colder climate of the northern US. In conclusion, R value is a good tool to determine the best amount of insulation for your climate. The calculation is simple. Add together the R values of the layers of material to know the total R value. Each layer will add some R value. Increasing the R value of your home is a good way to conserve energy and save on heating costs.